Hello gang, welcome back to Board Game Bananas. Today we are negotiating for the release of some hostages in the board game Hostage Negotiator. The structure for this video is I'm going to first go through a quick overview of the rules so you know roughly what's going to happen. Then I'm going to play through the game so you can see what it's like when it is being played. And then after that I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on the game. But you don't have to watch everything. In fact, I've got timestamps below, so just watch the bits that are most relevant for you. But yeah, that's enough waffle. Let's start by going through the rules. In Hostage Negotiator, this abductor here, Arcane Masua, has taken these 7 people hostage, and it is my job to negotiate for their release. He has a major demand and an escape demand, which he's not telling me at the moment, but hopefully we can play some cards and get that information out of him. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be playing some cards and then rolling some dice to see the effect of the cards that I've played. Each dice has 3 blank sides on it, 1, 2, and 3. And then it has 2 sides with this symbol here on the 5 and the 6, and then the 4 is a little bit special. I'll get onto that in a second. You'll notice on each card that there are 3 possible outcomes of playing this card. So if I roll the dice and I have 2 that have the success symbol on it, then in this case I would get 3 conversation points. Those are 4. I'll go through those in a little bit. If I roll the dice and I only get 1, that gives me 2 conversation points. If I don't get any of these, then that will get me 1, but it would also end the conversation, which is what that symbol there means. And then I have various different cards that do different things. I mentioned that the 4 is a little bit special, so if I were to get a 4, but I really want to turn that into a success, what I could do is I can play any two random cards from my hand to turn the 4 into a 5. I mentioned conversation points. That is what this speech bubble here denotes. And basically, after I finish playing the cards, I've had my little chat with the abductor. If I then have, for example, 4 conversation points, then I can go to this market here and buy some better cards, the price of which is down in the bottom corner. You'll notice, as always, that the better cards have much more expensive prices. The money doesn't transfer over from one round to the next, and yeah, you really want to buy as good cards as you can. One thing that's slightly different about this game compared to a regular deck builder is, let's say I was to buy this card, then after I've played it next time, then it simply goes back into the market. It doesn't stay in my hand for me to use multiple rounds in a row. This measure here is basically measuring how angry our abductor is. But in practicality, what it means is how many dice I get to throw. So he starts with an anger level of 4. I believe it's actually called a terror level, but he starts at number 4, which allows me to roll 2 dice. I can play some cards which will hopefully calm him down, and if we get to terror level 1, then I actually get a 3rd dice that I can throw. Would I end up getting 3 successes? Well, there's only 2 successes on the card, so the 3rd one is basically just for good luck, basically. And if I can really calm him down to the S and then calm him down even further, that then results in the safe release of a hostage. However, if he gets angrier and angrier, then firstly, I'd only end up being able to roll 1 dice, and if he gets even angrier than that, he starts killing hostages. The win conditions in this game, there are a number of conditions that have to be met at the same time. So firstly, this hostage pool, as it's called, has to be empty. And basically, when a hostage gets killed, you move it over here. When a hostage is saved, you move it over here. To win the game, the hostage pool has to be empty, and you need at least half of the hostages to have been saved. For this abductor in particular, we start with 7 hostages, so I need to be saving at least 4. But there are some cards that can basically add hostages later on. By the way, the game comes with 3 different abductors, which start with different terror levels in this different threat levels over here, and also different numbers of hostages. But yeah, I would need to do that, and then when all that's done, I need to either eliminate or capture the abductor. I can lose in a number of ways. Firstly, if at least half of the hostages have been killed. Well, you can't save at least half if more than half have been killed, so that would result in a loss. There are also some scenarios in which the abductor can escape, in which case I have lost as well. Also, after we've done all that, we're going to be taking a terror card. These are nearly always bad, but if this deck is ever empty, then I've lost as well. There are 10 of these terror cards, and then at the bottom there's a pivotal event terror card. So the order of play is that I'm going to be playing a card, I'm going to be rolling for its effect. In that case, that wasn't a very good roll. And then when I finished playing my cards, then I take the conversation points that I have and then try and buy some better cards. Then at that point, I will take a red terror card, and then we move on to the next round. And fundamentally, it is as simple as that. So I think really the best way to show these rules is in practice. So let's get playing. Okay, so got it all set up, got my cup of tea, let's get cracking. Now, I like to start by trying to get the guy to reveal his demands, because when the terror cards come later on, a lot of them are worse if there are unrevealed demands. Let's see, so that's 1 success and a 4 as well. So 1 success does reveal a demand. I'm going to just go for that. So his major demand, he wants us to wire $10 million. I could at any point spend 4 conversations to concede this demand during a conversation, and that also saves 2 of the hostages. But, by the way, when you do that, there's a penalty for conceding these demands. In this case, it's that I always roll 1 dice less. So I could concede to that demand later on, but I don't particularly want to. And you get punished for the rest of the game for doing so. I'm going to play that same card again, try and reveal his escape demand, and we do so. So, his escape demand, he would like a bus. Again, I can spend 4 conversation points to concede during any conversation phase. That also saves a hostage, but and we also get +1 on the next roll. The penalty for conceding, the abductor escapes at the end of the conversation. And remember, that is a loss condition, so we don't particularly want to do that. Okay, let's see if we can engage this guy in some small talk to try and gain some conversation points. Let's see, here we have a 4 and a 1. So that's not very good at all. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play these 2 cards to turn the 4 into a 5. Because on the small talk one, for not getting any successes, that actually ends the conversation, and I don't particularly want to do that quite yet. So I'm going to change the 4 to a 5, play the 2 cards. That gets me 2 conversation points. By the way, I didn't say this during the overview, but I could play any card face down, which simply gets me 1 conversation point. In this case, I don't particularly want to do that right now. I want to play the other small talk card, but that could be something that I do later on. Let's see, rolling this, I get a 4 and a 5, so that's another 2 conversation points. And now I'm out of cards, so that is the end of the conversation. So we go on to hopefully buying some better cards. I've got 4 money to spend. Any change at this point doesn't accumulate for next round. So I need to basically spend all 4 or it gets lost. I quite like this card. This is a minor extraction where I can hopefully extract 1 or even 2 of the hostages. That costs 3. And then for the remaining 1, I'm going to buy this, which is basically a reroll card. So I buy them, and then the cards that I've used basically go back into the market. Let's put them over here. The starting cards, by the way, have a price of 0, so I'll have those in my hand from next turn. Okay, then we take a terror card. Oh, in this case, this is the only good terror card. It's a moment of weakness. He's released 1 of the hostages without any penalty whatsoever. So Yeah, if there were 3 more of those cards coming up, then the game would be quite easy, but there's not. So, let's play this minor extraction card. Moving on to the next round, and I roll the dice, and we get a 1 and another 1. By the way, if it ends with a double 1, that means that he's killed somebody. Double 1 specifically means one guy gets killed. If I were to get a double 6, that would mean that a hostage has been saved. In this case, thankfully, I have the reroll card, so I can reroll one of these. I've got a 2. So that doesn't kill anybody, but, well, the dice doesn't kill anybody, but it does mean that this card has failed, which means he does kill somebody, and it's the end of the conversation. So we've got 1 saved, 1 spent. Now, buying better cards, I don't have any conversation points, because that round I only played that card, so I take my starting hand of price 0 cards. These ones go back into the market, and we take another terror card. And here he's going to kill somebody, and this is why I wanted to reveal these. If any unrevealed demand, then he would increase his threat level. So he doesn't do that, but he does kill somebody. So we've already lost 2 of the hostages. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, let's try and tell him to keep his cool. We'll try and move this further along. Okay, we got 1 success, so that does reduce the threat level from a 4 to a 3, which is very nice. Do you know what? I'll try that again, because I've got 2 of those cards. Let's see. Another 1. There we go. That's now down at 2. If I could go 1 further, then I'd get a 3rd dice to play, which would be very nice indeed. The what are your demands cards, sure, I could roll them and try and get some conversation points, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to play them both face down, which means I get 1 conversation point for each of them. I'm really trying to buy some better cards for next round. That being said, let's have a small talk. That's 1 success, so that's +2 over here. And the last small talk, 2 successes, a 5 and a 6 though, so it doesn't quite save anybody, but +3 here. 3. Okay, that's all my cards spent. Turn those up the other way. Right, so I've got 7 money to spend over here, and I'm very close to unlocking the 3rd dice, which would be very useful. I'm thinking if I buy one of these, the Just Stay Calm, then I can use that to reduce the threat level a little bit further. That's 2. Now I'll buy one of these again and try and extract some hostages. That's 5, and then I'll just take the 2 re-rolls over here as well. So what I'm hoping to do is reduce the threat level so I get a 3rd dice, then play this. I've got 3 dice to try and get 2 successes, and I've got 2 re-roll tokens. 2 re-roll cards, I should say. So that's what I'm hoping. Let's see what happens in reality. But first, we shall have a terror card, and the threat level's gone up again. Okay. But again, though, if any unrevealed demand plus another 1, and there's not, so that's at least good. But yeah, he's getting angry. Yeah, I'm going to take a bit of a risk here. I'm going to try and calm him down anyway. This is a bit risky, because if there's no successes, then he's going to end the conversation. But I do have my 2 reroll cards. Okay, 1 success, so we do bring him down 1. Such a shame that we got this terror card, because otherwise we'd be on a 3rd dice. Yeah, okay. Then I'm going to play the minor extraction, try and get some people out of there. Okay, that's a 5 and a 1. I'm going to keep the 5. I'll try and re-roll the 1. Try and get a 2nd person out. It's a 4, not quite. Let's re-roll again. Yes, a 6. Brilliant. So that then is 2 successes. We've saved 2 hostages. So 3 saved, 2 still in danger. Didn't get any conversation points this time, so again we take back the free cards, and then these go back into the market. Here, here, and here. Okay, and then the terror card for this round. Oh, it's a +1 over here again. Oh, so close to getting that third dice, but oh well. Right, so what else we've got to do then? We've got to focus on getting back these 2 hostages, for which I need a card that isn't free, basically. Bit of fluff over there. Right. Let's try and calm him down again. We were quite close to getting that third dice, weren't we? So that's not worked. We're actually on -1 conversation point. Let's try that again. The other keep cool card. Okay, it's a 6 and a 4, and I'm quite bad at throwing dice apparently, but that is a success, so there we go. Still on the 2 dice though. Right, I'm going to play these 2 what are your demand cards again face down, so we're at least on positive conversation points. Let's play small talk, hope for some good dice throwing. We get 1, so that's up 2. And let's small talk again. Nope, just +1. By the way, every turn so far I've been playing all of the cards I have in my hand. That's not something that you have to do. The conversation points have to be spent, but you can keep cards from one round to the next. So now I've got 4 conversation points. I think I'll just keep it easy. We'll try and extract those 2 with this guy and 1 reroll card, and then these go back. The order of play, by the way, stops me from taking these free cards every round. It's you buy and then you replenish the market with the cards that you've just bought. Terror card. Oh, he's going up 2 again. It's a good job we keep bringing that down, because otherwise he'd be over here killing people. But it is annoying. Okay, this round we'll try the minor extraction. Try and get those 2 people out. We've got a 5, which is a success, and a 3, which we're going to re-roll, which is a 2, so that was a waste of time. But we did manage to save 1 person, but he's a bit unhappy at releasing them, so we've got a threat level of 5 now. Again, no conversation points, so back to the free cards. Put that back, put that back. Terror card. Draw and resolve the next red terror card. Okay. Minor demand, food. Concede during any conversation for the benefit of ignoring one of those end conversations. Okay, penalty for conceding. Remove the associated conversation card from the game. Okay, so basically if we play a conversation card, let's say one of these, then we can concede this minor demand for food to ignore ending the conversation, but then this card is taken out of the game completely, which I don't particularly like. Right, I mean, I think we should basically follow the same formula. We need to keep him cool again because he's getting quite hot-headed over here. That's not worked at all. Okay, -1 there. Let's keep him cool again. Ugh, what's happened to my dice throwing? So we're on -2 conversation points. It's actually very tempting to just keep these cards in my hand then, and use them next go, because you can't really do anything. This is going to reset to 0 anyway. Yeah, I'm going to do that. It's basically... no, I'm not, because then we're going to run out of terror cards. No, okay, right. These 2 again face down, back on 0, and then let's small talk him into some conversation points. That's 2, that's lovely. And then this as well. A 6 and a 4, which is 1 success, which is 2 of these. So, okay, back on 4 conversation points that we can spend. Very close to getting this last hostage out. He's also quite close to only giving us 1 dice to do so. Just trying to see if there are any of the other cards that could be useful, because that is one thing about this game. You often just end up in a pattern of like two moves that you sort of alternate between, which is kind of exactly what's happening now for me. Yeah, I'm buying the minor extraction and the re-roll because, well, you might as well, hadn't you? Terror card. Oh, roll the die and add hostages to the pool as follows. So I'm going to roll the die. I've got a 1, which means, oh no, add 3 hostages to the hostage pool. Oh dear. Right, well, that couldn't have gone any worse. There's now 4 guys here that we have to try and extract, and we don't have very many turns in which to do so. So let's try the minor extraction. Come on, good dice rolling, good dice rolling. Okay, we've got a 5, which is lovely. Let's re-roll this. Come on, come on. Nope. So we do extract 1. So we have actually saved 5 hostages. It feels like it's not going particularly well, but we have saved 5 dudes. No conversation points, so again we just end up with this hand of zeros. The terror card, roll a dice. If the result is less than or equal to the current threat level, then he's going to kill somebody. So if I get equal to or less than a 5, then he's going to kill someone. I've got a 4, so that's somebody dead. Sorry, dude. Okay, then... Right. I mean, I should go all in for conversation points here, really. I'm going to forget keeping him cool, so the keep cool cards I'm going to play face down to get conversation points. The demand cards I'm also going to play face down to get the conversation points. The small talk cards, well, I'm going to play 1. 2 1s, so he's just killed someone, and added 1 and ended the conversation. And I keep the other small talk card in my hand for next go. But the good news is I do now have 5 conversation points to spend. I just have to try and extract that last dude, so I'm just going to do that and that. We're very nearly at the end of the terror deck of cards as well, so... Okay, and the last red terror card says roll the die. Yeah, it's the same ones we just had. So, less than or equal to a 5, and which it is. So he's now dead. But here's the thing. This hostage pool is now empty, and we have saved at least half the hostages. We've saved 5 out of the 10. So technically, him killing that last hostage, as heartless and unthematic as it sounds, that's not the end of the world. What we have to do next is capture or eliminate the guy himself, Arcane Masua. I can't pronounce that, but yeah. And the way we do that is either by playing one of these cards that has Eliminate Abductor on it, but you'll notice they're extremely expensive and I'm never going to be able to afford them. Or we find a way to extract hostages, because basically the last hostage extraction is capturing the abductor. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play this card. Actually, it's really good that I picked this card and not one of the others in that sense. So let's play this. And if I basically get a success, then I believe I won the game. And I do indeed have a 5, which means that we've now captured this guy. At least half of the hostages have been saved, and the hostage pool has been empty. So yeah, that is technically a win. And there we have it, gang. That is Hostage Negotiator. When I first bought this game, I was looking for a game that I could play solo, that isn't quite as time-consuming or as brain-burny as that guy up there, Spirit Island. And this definitely does tick all of those boxes. It's quick to play. We just played an entire game in less than 20 minutes. Setup takes no time at all. It's reasonably straightforward to understand, at least enough of the rules to be able to get going. There are a few of the cards and things like that that I do need to consult the rulebook for, or a couple of edge cases here and there, but the rules are reasonably straightforward for you to at least get going and get playing. And I like that it comes with 3 different abductors, which means that you get a little bit of variation in the way that you play. So it very much does tick all of the boxes for what I was looking for in a solo game. Some of the things that I don't particularly like, I mean, we saw this in the game that I just played, that in the end, from the last red terror card that was taken, he ended up killing one of the hostages, and that very much worked in our favour, because then the hostage pool is empty, which means that later on when I played the minor extraction, rather than extracting that last hostage, we were able to extract the abductor himself, which won us the game. Had we not taken this red terror card, then we would have simply abducted, we would have saved that hostage, which is good. Another hostage saved is a good thing. But then the round would have ended. I would have maybe bought a few cards, but then we're in the last pivotal event card, which says place your highest cost conversation card back into the available area with no effect. So any card I would have bought, I would have had to put straight back, and then I'm basically going into the last round with hardly any cards. If I'm being honest, I probably would have lost in that scenario. So what I'm saying in a kind of long-winded way is that the card coming up where the last abductor got shot, that actually won us the game, which doesn't feel particularly thematic, and it doesn't feel like something you should want to happen in this kind of game. But that's the way the game works, that's the way it is. The other thing that I don't particularly like about this game is it's a little bit luck driven. The dice rolling is an absolutely essential part of the game, and you can't quite get around the fact that it's very much luck driven based on what dice you get. I've played games of this where the first couple of dice rolls that I made have been very bad. Suddenly the threat level is very high. Suddenly I'm only throwing 1 dice from there on in. I'm not able to buy better cards, and you kind of can't really get the ball rolling. And lastly, another bad thing, I'm sorry, I don't mean to mention all the bad things, but I've got to, so that you know what you're getting into if you're looking at buying this game. As I actually mentioned during the playthrough, I find that you kind of alternate between 2 different moves. In that game, I was alternating between having the minor extraction and 1 or 2 reroll cards, and then in the next turn just having the free cards. I find that quite a sort of common pattern that, okay, this move we have these cards, this move we have these cards, this move we have these cards again, this move we have these cards again. And you kind of fall into your kind of set way of playing. But again, that being said, it's not a bad game. It's an easy one to get out. It's an easy one to start playing. It keeps me entertained for 15 to 20 minutes without completely frying my brain. So I do actually quite enjoy playing this game. It's just a little bit luck driven, and it can become a little bit formulaic when you're sort of halfway through a game and you realise I'm just sort of repeating myself here until all the hostages are gone. But I'd love to know what you guys think. Please leave me a comment down in the comment section below, and yeah, give this video a like if you haven't already, and also subscribe. I've only just passed 100 subscribers, which I'm absolutely delighted about. So thank you very much for joining me on this journey. But yeah, in the meantime, I shall see you in the next one. Take care, goodbye, and go and save those hostages. Goodbye.